All right, so before I get too deep into this, before I even do the cuts, I'm going to set up another MikroBench. So this is the MikroBench that I built while camping, and not the CNC part, but I did take those parts with me. They were CNC'd here at the shop, but then I took them on a camping trip down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. But so I now have the bench, the MikroBench. I have the top for the MikroBench. I have, that's tray number 2. This is tray number 3 for my cups and stuff. These are the risers. These are the joinery, the knockdown joinery. And these are several of the Harbor Freight rolling tool carts that I purchased years ago. I have a whole bunch of them. So I'm going to mount this bench to one of those carts. And then from that point forward, it'll be all set up to use for glue ups and for joinery. So this is the first one I'm installing of the new variety. And so I'm actually going to try leaving the 2 lower bolts in there on the cart. And because I think that might help actually stiffen things up a little bit, but we'll try that out. And the other thing is I'm putting it on the end that does not have the handle, because I like having that handle on there for other reasons. So I'm going to leave that on if I can. If I wanted 2 MikroBenches, I would install one here, but then I'd remove that. I'd put the MikroBench on, but then I'd put the handle on the other side of the MikroBench, so I still have the handle. It's just that then they get to be kind of wide. So I'm going to keep on trying it this way. Now, depending on the installation on different things, and this one, I left the door on, the top, and the other ones I actually took a bit and removed the, what do you call them, the rivets, and then removed the top because I wasn't using the top anyhow. And so because I left the top on there, I'm going to put a shim in here. These are awesome if you don't already use them. They're rubber shims, and they just come in really, really handy. So I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit, put the shims in, and then I'll basically have a really, really nice stable unit here. Okay, so what I did was I put the 2 outer ones on U-bolts because they're not going anywhere. And that way when I get into larger stuff, they can cantilever and there's not going to be a problem. The other ones are really to be pretty loose, but because these are prototypes and they're only like 12 inches long, they wouldn't reach all the way out to these outer limits, right? Because these are very short. So all I'm going to do is just put a board across here. So I'm just actually getting used to these MikroBenches myself. So I'm gonna try putting those shims in there. Again, those are shims, right? So I'm gonna put 2 of them. Typical method of using shims where you put 2 in opposite directions of each other. I'll do the same thing here. And again, the outer 2 of these clamps, these R&R clamps, are held on by the U-bolt, so they're not going to go anywhere. But this way it'll give me a little tighter fit here, because I think that is going to, yep, those are going to pick up the differences. Okay, I like that as far as the clamps go, because the nice thing about that is then when I use the power driver on them, they're not going to fly around on me. And again, nothing's going to get in the way because all the action is going to be taking place up here. But part of this setup is going to be cleaning up the clamps a little bit. You can see I've been using these before. And to get a consistent height on those, you have 2 options. One is keep them really clean, which I don't do. Or you can put spacers under the pieces as well, which I've done a lot of times. That comes in pretty handy too. But they're ready to go. Okay, another part of getting it all set up is just making sure everything works. And it looks like they're going to work just fine. So the wrench, or that driver is going to go up on top there where it belongs. May as well get ready with a T25 for that'll be coming up later. I'm not going to be using the cup holders, at least not until tonight. So I'm going to be using it instead for the drivers. Okay, so I think the MikroBench is set up about as much as I'm going to need it for this project. Again, this would be classified as a multi-board glue up. Not doing any joinery quite yet. I'll cover that later, and I'll just be continually adding tools to it. So I'm all set to go with the MikroBench. Now I'm going to go off onto the cut list and then start doing some cutting.